What's up, guys? Welcome to the ninth episode of the J&J Sports Talk. I'm your host, Jordan Drosick, followed by my co-host Christian and Thomas Kohick. How are we doing today, guys?
Doing pretty good.
Pretty
Doing
good.
great.
That must be awesome. Uh, I didn't have the best weekend. I know that for sure. So y'all could start dogging on me in this very first. Cowboys
No,
lost
no,
before.
we'll save it. We'll save it. We'll save
No,
it.
no. Okay, you
We need
made
to get the energy going. We'll save it for later.
no. You made the outline today. So how about Clash? And you started off. What is the first thing that we're going to talk about today?
I don't even remember. Let me look here.
It had to do
Oh,
some.
Packers versus the Cowboys.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what we're going to start off with.
that
I
is.
mean,
Yeah,
go ahead, Thomas. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm going to save it.
it's clashing. But yeah, we had the Packers versus the Cowboys Sunday afternoon. It was a good game. The Cowboys. It was looking like they were gonna win. They came out in the second half. They got a few turnovers and they got a two possession lead. And then Aaron Rodgers just took over and they somehow came home with the win.
Yeah, they did somehow come home with the win. Somehow, some way. So it's either Aaron Rodgers came, and he always plays the Cowboys the best. That's what I'll say. And our rush defense wasn't the best, like I predicted last week, and Cowboys did not shut them. They did not shut them down. So yeah, so I'll eat the crow on this one. It was a tough loss, and I'll eat my words for sure. So y'all can go ahead and start dogging on me as we start this subject.
Well, I was just about to say, I mean, ask you, I mean, how you feel? And, I know that crow doesn't taste very good. It didn't go down very, very good. So I just, I care about you. I want to make sure that you're all right, that you didn't get an upset stomach from all that crow that you're eating, from that Cowboys game. But so,
It's all right. I'm pretty full on the crow. Uh, we got an even tougher game coming up with the Vikings. So they're gonna have to bounce back quick. So I don't know what they're gonna have to do here.
Oh, please say that game is on the games of picks for tonight. The Minnepeach game of the week to
Oh,
pick.
it is. It is. It's
Oh,
probably the biggest game of the week.
Yeah.
yeah, it's on Sunday Night Football for everybody to watch. So yeah, we have no excuse to go out and play.
Hey, at least you got primetime Kirk. I mean, he usually doesn't play that well.
Yeah, primetime Kirk versus 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins is a completely different guy.
Yes, it is. I
The-
can speak on vast experience on that.
yeah, so yeah, Cowboys lost. The
So
NFC.
let's talk about the Packers a little bit.
Let's talk about the Packers then.
With the with the with the Packers winning this game, do you think they go on a hot run here, or are they just gonna get lucky winning versus Cowboys and go on to lose the next 6 or 7 games?
I think they will. I think they'll get on a hot run. Usually, almost every team that faces the Cowboys play their best, and they found out another gear that they just had, and especially with that one wide receiver, I can't remember his name.
Watson.
Watson. He was dogging on us all game, except for the very beginning of the game. He had first couple drop passes. It was literally like back to back plays, drop passes, and then he made up for it with the three touchdowns throughout the whole
Yeah, I think
game.
he only had like 4 receptions, and 3 of them were for touchdowns.
Yeah, after those first two drops, he became a completely different wide receiver out there, and he made up for it pretty good. So yeah, I do. For your question, I do see the Packers going on a hot streak here. What do y'all think? Y'all think they're going to go on a hot streak or no?
I think it's very well possible. I mean, now is the time of the year. We're going into week 11 of the season. So now is that time to where, generally as the season goes on, teams either get better and get hot as the season goes on, or they level off and kind of stay the same or get worse as the last half of the season goes along. Now, I mean, honestly, the Cowboys they came out firing and throwing some punches there. I thought the Cowboys were jacked up. They got a couple of scores there early, and I thought that Green Bay was going to be in for a long day. But Lambeau is always a tough place to play, especially as we get into December. And you know, that's what Rodgers has been needing all season is a wide receiver to step up to fill the Devonte Adams hole and that WR1. They thought that was going to be. They thought and hoped it would have been Alan Lazard, but that didn't pan out. So this guy Watson, he caught what, three touchdowns, three touchdowns. So um, they could very easily go on a run, especially in a weak division, the NFC North, very weak division.
Yeah, they got the Vikings though. That's going to be a tough task for them to catch up, but they could probably get a wild card spot. I mean, their defense is pretty good. They got two good running backs. I don't think we've seen their second string running back that much Sunday. It was
There was
mainly
a couple. Yeah, I seen a couple plays where the backup came in, but he was from what I saw,
Dylan.
he was no scrub himself. So
He's a
he
big dude.
he's yeah, he was a pretty big dude. I was like, God damn, that's a running back right there. Avoid him at all costs. But yeah, both running backs, they did pretty good. Cowboys, they had a slow start going into the game. Uh, I don't know if it was due to the cold. I mean, I
You
told Classen.
Southerners, it wasn't even that cold. It was 30.
I told Classen before the game. There's really no excuse to not play good in the cold because there have been games where they've gone out and scored 49, 51 points in the cold. It's just a matter of just getting in the rhythm, and they start off slow, and then they got into the rhythm. I think they got down 7-0, and then they had 21. No, actually, they were up 7-0. Then Green Bay responded 7-7, and Cowboys had a 21-point. I can't remember. No.
Yeah, it was a 21-point unanswered run. You're right.
Right.
Yeah, after the Packers took the lead, it was 14-7 right before the half, and the Cowboys scored a touchdown right as the half ended, 14-14, which was 7 unanswered points, and they scored 14 more points in the third quarter. So it made it 21 total unanswered points, and then the Packers came back and scored 14 in the fourth quarter, and while Cowboys did not get any points, and yeah, there's a little
Turnovers.
bit of
Lost some points, especially that one turnover when you're in the red zone.
Yeah, the Packers had 14. All 14 points in the Packers' first half were off of turnovers, and the second half points were just regular drives. But the second half, Cowboys could not really produce anything in the second half. After the third quarter, there was a little bit of controversy in the fourth quarter. Not the fourth quarter, overtime. Maybe a pass interference. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, actually, I read on this earlier. They're saying it was for like the sports book thing. Like if either team would have scored a touchdown, they would have lost a lot of money.
Yeah,
So
I saw that as well on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that on TikTok as well. I don't believe it. But what made me really question that move, that offsides, was that Tolbert came in the game in overtime. Tolbert hadn't played any down throughout the whole game, and this guy comes in and lines up offsides right off the bat.
Close. Wasn't even close.
Why are you putting him in? Why are you putting him in the game in overtime when he hasn't played a single down? From what I saw, he did not play a single down. He's not a starter. He's not a backup, and he comes in and lines up offsides, ruins the whole drive. There was a couple penalties that almost ruined the whole drive, but it's tough loss. I will say tough loss.
Well, only the Cowboys will know why they put him in.
And only the Cowboys would make that type of mistake. That's the only time somebody would line up offsides.
NFL.
That's the only
NFL.
that's the only time I would see somebody line up offsides on offense. That was probably the first time ever. It would happen.
That's up for debate.
That's crazy how that happened.
It's something
He's in the NFL. I don't understand.
Yeah, only the Cowboys would do such a blasphemous thing. But we'll I don't know if y'all have any more left on the Packers subject.
No, not really. Nothing really happened besides the Cowboys losing.
Yeah.
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 We'll follow up on them on next week after their Thursday matchup against Tennessee. A very good team. So we'll follow them up next week.
Yeah, we'll definitely follow him up. Hopefully, I'm not gonna make any accusations for this week. I don't want to be put on blast again, but uh, just know I feel like they will rebound. That is my opinion there, and I'll state that later when we pick the MinutePeach.com's games of the week. But next game, we'll go on to last night's Monday Night Football game, the Redskins versus the Eagles. The Eagles finally lost. They lost against the Redskins, which they are like the undefeated killers. They always beat a undefeated team, like the 2020 Steelers when they're 11-0. They beat them, and the 8-0 Eagles they beat them. So they're just like ending streaks. So,
Both
but
on Monday night too. Both on Monday night.
both on Monday night. So Redskins are they actually a playoff contender or a pretender?
Uh,
Oh, go
I
ahead.
think they
Go ahead.
can. I think they can make the playoffs. I mean, with the NFL has just been bad this year. Like the NFC East has been dominating, and the AFC South has been dominating. All the other divisions have been just bad. I mean, the Bucks are leading their division, and they've like 5, 6 losses. The Browns are no, the Ravens are leading the AFC with I think they're like 6-2, and then everyone else is 4-4 or whatever. But yeah, I think the Redskins. I think all 4 NFC East teams will somehow make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make it far. They're not going to go as far as the Giants, but I think they make playoffs.
I think you're definitely capable of it. I mean, like I was saying, it goes with pretty much every team, and we saw it back in 2020. I think it was when the last time that the Redskins made the playoffs, where they went on a run there in the last half of the season and ran off like 5 or 6 straight. That's definitely possible, especially with Chase Young coming back this week. And they got Chase Young um, coming back, so that's definitely going to be a big boost for that defense. And this week they going up against the lowly Houston Texans down in Houston. So, but they, any given Sunday, you definitely can't take them easy. And what they don't want to have is kind of that hangover and be such on a on emotional high beating the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles and then going into Houston and just thinking, playing the game half asleep and just thinking that they can just go in there and take it because that won't happen. So the schedule is favorable for them too, but it's a definitely an uphill battle when you're talking about teams like Philadelphia, Dallas, and New York Giants in that division with very very good records. They definitely have an uphill battle. Now they do have more divisional playoff games, which will I think that'll be the key and determine who makes the playoffs in the NFC East is those divisional games at the end of the year.
I have a question for you, Shady. So when Carson Wentz comes back, do you think the Redskins will go with him, or will they continue with
No
Heineke?
way. Continue with Heineke. No way can they go with Wentz. No way. Heineke. Obviously I've been a fan of them since birth, really. Um, and
But you're
a
a
couple
fan
of
of the Steelers as well.
Steelers is a called number 2. Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
How
Steelers are
dare
my
you
number.
have two favorite NFL teams? That's like against
Uh,
the unwritten rule of being a fan.
no, not really. I mean, one's in the. I actually have 3. The
Three.
Redskins. Yeah, the Redskins, the Steelers, and anybody who's playing Baltimore and Dallas.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. You can't go with Wentz. I mean, Heineke injects life into that team. He plays with such passion, and he gets those guys. Which what a quarterback does, and you see it in the Patrick Mahomes and the Tom Brady's and the Aaron Rodgers. is that these quarterbacks elevate the team. They get them to play better. They elevate. They want to play for them. They want to win for them. Carson Wentz doesn't have that. He just doesn't have that kind of mojo.
Hey,
Um,
Carson Wentz will put his body on the line. He'll sprain both of his ankles in one play. Like that's how much he cares about the sport.
but he doesn't have the players to back. He doesn't have the players. I mean, the
You're saying he
players.
doesn't have the leadership. He's too busy out hunting instead of worrying about the
Absolutely,
team.
absolutely, yes.
You see
So,
Heineke
well
after
said.
that first down or after that late hit on the very last play or one of the last plays of the game to basically seal the game. Like he took a knee and then the two players came in and tackled him. He's just like first down.
Yeah, that man thinks he did something. He did nothing.
I mean, he basically that was smart because if he would actually wait till he got tackled, then the flag would have never came out. But if he took that quick knee and then he got sacked and then he's like first down.
You
That
think
guy plays
more
with emotion.
quarterbacks will do that to take advantage of the late hit rule? You think quarterbacks will start doing that, or the NFL will?
Well, no,
look
you
into
won't
that?
really see. You don't really see in that situation to where they're gonna take a knee like that. They're just gonna really get, or I don't know, because any quarterback would have threw the ball away in that situation. But in any other situation, in the situation the Redskins were in, so it's gonna be rare if you were to see that again happen.
Yeah,
They
but let's
just
say you need a first down. It's 4th and 8. You need a first down, and you can't just throw the ball away. Do you go down on purpose and hope someone makes contact?
I don't know. I don't really think. I think they know once you're down, there's no really reason to touch you after that, especially if it's on a fourth down.
I mean, the Eagles did it.
That wasn't fourth down though. That was
Yeah,
third
but
down.
they didn't need to hit him there. They didn't need to.
Of course they didn't need to hit him, but they.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think they're the when you're in a defensive mind, they wanted to go straight after him, and that was the goal was to get him down. But in reality, he already was down, and I don't know. It wasn't really a flop, but he got hit two people, and
Yeah, it wasn't very hard. There was contact.
his head hit the floor.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be a hard hit to draw the flag when
Yeah.
you're a quarterback.
We've seen we've seen rough in the passer way worse than that. Like a little touch on the shoulder, they're throwing the flag. But one of our questions, our one of our listeners has. We're gonna go into the NASCAR side of things. Jedman, he has a question saying, when will NASCAR start policing restarts properly? We'll go with Clashing on that one. Satan, I think that's going back to the Chase Elliott.
This must be a Chase Elliott fan. So
We'll assume he's a Chase Elliott fan.
yeah, we don't know who this Jedman guy is. So sorry if I offend you by calling you a Chase Elliott fan, but I think they do a good enough job policing. I mean, you don't really ever hear restart issues very often. So I don't. I got nothing to say about it.
Shady with that restart Ross Chastain did with Chase Elliott at Phoenix.
So we're only talking about Chase Elliott restart. We're not talking about like.
I mean, I think that's directly going towards what that's talking about at the Phoenix incident.
To answer your question, no, I don't think they're going to police it any different. That was kind of an isolated incident at a very unique track with Phoenix and going down on that dog leg compared to most other tracks where you can't go down on the apron or below the racing surface or the racing groove, whatever you want to call it. So no, I don't think that they're gonna police it any different or any more strict or anything like that. I think it was just the circumstances that it was at a very unique particular track. Most other tracks where you can't go down
So
on
with
on
how
the
it
apron
happened,
or below the racing.
with how it happened, like you said, it's very rare that for a track to have that open area in the apron that really nobody uses except mainly the restarts or first couple laps. But to have that, you could lay back. That's the problem. What they need to have a defined rule: what is laying back and what is not, because if you're already turning down in specific lane, changing lanes what is by the rule? What is changing lanes to the definition? Because
So
I think Ross was definitely changing in the motion of changing lanes to get to that apron to cut. Compared to other restarts, you don't really see that at other tracks.
so if fans really want this looked into, especially for like Phoenix, maybe they should make it where like the first lap at Phoenix, you're just not allowed to cut the track.
Why would they not be allowed to cut the track?
I don't know, maybe to prevent someone from
I mean,
trying to
to
time
get
it
to
like that. And I mean, you got to get any competitive advantage. Like if you make it where it's too close to call, I mean, NASCAR isn't gonna throw a penalty on that, especially for a playoff driver.
Well, we have a source that says Tyler Reddick says they lay back all the time on restarts to get that momentum going towards
Oh,
the
I
restart.
do it all the time too, especially on NASCAR Heat.
Well, that's no. I'm saying it wouldn't shouldn't that be policed if that's a problem?
I mean, they have the data to police it even more than what they used to like 10 years ago. I think it should be policed more because you don't really see it up front, but back in 20th to 30th, people are laying back 3 car lengths and just rolling, going 2-3 mile an hour quicker, and then stomping on it and going under them.
Well, shouldn't that be addressed then? That's the question.
I mean, yeah. I mean, with the data they have access to in today's world, I think they could be policed a little way better.
All right, that'll wrap up that question right there. As we'll move on into our next subject. Oh, here we go. Bills versus Vikings. That was could be game of the year. I don't know if y'all thought that was a badass game. There was a lot of scoring, a lot of everything going on, especially towards the end. But for the question we have today is, should the Bills be worried, or are the Vikings just the hottest team in the NFL currently? We'll go with Shady on this one to start off.
No, I don't think. No, I don't think the Vikings are the hottest team in the league. And yes, I think the Bills have a little bit something to worry about. Going into the second half of the season, where that was just a really, really wacky game. A very, very wacky ending that you've really haven't never, I don't think, ever seen before in how it all played out. But the Bills, I mean, Josh Allen is not making good decisions like he was in the beginning of the season. He's I don't know, I don't want to say buckling under the pressure, but he's trying to make so much happen that he's making these mistakes, and he's not just letting the play come to him and taking what is given to him. And he's making a lot of mistakes. So to answer your question, yeah, the Bills have something to worry about.
Clash, is there anything you could answer that question?
So I don't have an issue with the Bills' offense because they can score points. I mean, the bad decisions is something you can fix. I don't know how easily you can fix it, but I do know the Bills have a couple injuries on defense, but I don't know like how that really affects their play. I think they can play and win versus anyone. I do think the Vikings are a good team. I think I want to say they're the hottest team in the NFL at this time. I mean, maybe you can say the Chiefs or the Eagles, but I mean the Eagles aren't hot anymore.
Dolphins.
Cowboys aren't hot.
That's what I was saying. I was thinking the Dolphins are the hottest team, in my opinion.
Right now,
Oh, weren't y'all calling me crazy a couple weeks ago when I said two is making that team to a completely different level?
trying to look up what they've done lately. I do agree. The Dolphins are good. If they have Tua, they're good.
I think they're great. They're 6-0 when he finishes the game without a concussion. Well,
Yeah.
it's
All right, so
5-0.
We'll say the Vikings are the hottest team in the NFC.
Yeah, Vikings are definitely the hottest team in the NFC. Yes, I can agree with that. But the NFL, who is the NFL's hottest team?
I don't
Has
know.
to be on the AFC side.
There's a couple of them. I mean, you got the Chiefs, you got the Dolphins, you got the Steelers, who are 2-0 the last 2 weeks. Don't forget that. Who else? I would consider the Giants a hot team. Barkley is still carrying, and that's it. I don't consider the Bills very good anymore. I mean, they've lost to the Jets, they've lost to the Vikings, lost to the Dolphins. I guess that's it. Maybe the Colts are starting to get hot. We'll see here in about 2 weeks when they play the Cowboys.
Well, yeah, we will definitely see when they play the Cowboys. Um, but for that question, I'll answer very respectfully as I can. Yeah, I do think the Bills should be worried. They are. I know they're losing against good teams, but with Josh Allen keeps making mistakes, that's a bad rap, and it could lead the team into a rabbit hole that they shouldn't need, or it's just all bad. But if they can get it all under control real quick, then they shouldn't have anything to worry about. But Vikings definitely the hottest team in the NFC. I believe the Dolphins are the hottest team in the NFL with Tua as their quarterback, and with Tua is a possible MVP candidate, which we'll talk about that coming up soon. But yeah, I do see the Bills should be worried for now. Next week, it could be wiped off all completely. But talking about that game, it was a great game. Do you see that Justin Jefferson catch? Just like snatched it up like nothing.
That was insane. That was insane. That was a remarkable catch.
Yeah, everything is. It was a lot of crazy stuff, but we'll lead into the next topic. Barkley, I don't really see him as an MVP candidate for. I mean, yeah, he's doing good, but when do you ever see
Right.
running backs being MVP candidates?
You don't really unless you're doing. But for Saquon, it's like if the Giants don't have Saquon, are they winning any games?
I
If the
mean,
Bills don't have Josh Allen, are they winning any games? Like that's
mm,
what I consider as like an MVP, most valuable player. If the Giants make it to the playoffs, Barkley has to be in the conversation. He should be a top 3 finalist.
yeah, but as your MVP though,
I
your
know it's
most.
usually a quarterback, but
No, I know, but I'm saying who is more valuable, Tua or Barkley?
Ooh.
we'll we'll see because here's how I I view it. Tua has all these weapons around him. What does Saquon have? Nothing.
Saquon, yeah. I mean, yeah, I could see your point of view from there,
I
but
think Tua is definitely leading the votes right now, but Barkley has to be top 3.
like you say, you told me all the time when Dak played against the Green Bay and they lost. Who'd you put it on? You put it on Dak. You said Dak had a
Quarterback.
bad.
Always the quarterback's fault.
Why?
Hey,
Because
for the Giants,
he's getting paid,
Saquon.
right? So
Yeah.
we're gonna go to the quarterback who's the most responsible guy. Even though I told you we have to put responsible on other players as well. You can't just say, "Oh, it's Dak," because he's the one getting paid the big bucks and he's supposed to be a leader. So if we're gonna put that in that category and follow in that section, we're gonna say, okay, Tua, he is leading the team, and 6-1 if you want to be technical, 6-0 in my book.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Saquon gets paid more than Daniel Jones. Saquon is also the starting quarterback, starting running back, starting wide receiver. He might even kick field goals here soon.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up real quick. Who? Let's see. Y'all keep on talking about this. Shady, are y'all go see who's more important, Tua or Saquon?
You can't you can't really answer the question on who's more important because like he was saying like he was saying that they play two totally different positions and their offenses are built totally different. I mean, um Tua Tua's the most valuable player on the Dolphins and Saquon's the most valuable player on the Giants. Saquon's leading the league in rushing. He has more yards than Derrick Henry right now. I mean, that's saying something in itself. Um, but I mean, where does Patrick Mahomes come into the conversation as far as the MVP? I think
But
you you I mean,
how are you gonna throw a that's almost like a basic answer right there with Patrick Mahomes. He also has weapons around him too, but Tua's doing more with his weapons compared to Mahomes.
well,
Yeah, I think
absolutely. He's got two receivers in the top three or top. I think it's the top. I know he's got um, Tyreek Hill leading the league in receiving yards, and Waddle, I think, is third or fourth in receiving yards in the league. So, um, I mean, Mike McDaniel, I love that guy. He's a great coach. He has built the offense to their strengths, and the Dolphins are really really good. They're really really good. Um, but neither one of them is more valuable than the other one in my opinion, on the league, because like I said, who was the most valuable player on the Dolphins? Saquon's the most valuable player on the Giants. But I think you have to put both of them in the conversation for the most valuable player in the league. In my opinion, you got to put them both in there. Especially now, like I said, it all comes down to what I was kind of saying, about Tua as a quarterback. He does kind of the same thing I was mentioning that Heineke does. He elevates the team. He elevates the players around him. He makes the players around him better. But Saquon, being a running back, is a totally different role. Um, so they you got two players with two totally different roles. Neither one of them is more important or valuable than the other one in the aspect of the league. But you have to make the playoffs to be in the to be in the conversation, and I think you can't really necessarily just make it in the playoffs, but advance at least into the divisional round.
all right. So let's say Saquon Barkley can carry his team and they make it to the NFC Championship game. Do you think Barkley has a better chance of beating out a Lamar Jackson or Tua or a Patrick Mahomes?
Me personally, I would say yes, but in the league, the way it is, the league, like you guys were saying, the league is going to favor quarterbacks and receivers, especially quarterbacks winning the MVP. I mean, you always have a quarterback winning the freaking MVP. Um, I mean, it's like almost you have to have a quarterback being your MVP of the league. So the league favors quarterbacks, number one. But me personally, you know, different answer.
Yeah, the quarterback makes the big bucks. Cooper Cup last year, he was close. I think he was top three finalist, and he
Yep.
all these records for receiving, and he still lost. So at the end of the day, it'll probably still be a
Well, I
Tua or a
think
Lamar Jackson.
the only vote that he had, or a couple votes that he had, were the people that said they weren't going to vote for Aaron Rodgers because he didn't get the COVID vaccine. You remember that whole debacle going on back then?
Yeah, that's funny
Uh,
though. He got vaccinated this year though, so he's good.
I
Did he
guess he
get
ate one.
vaccinated before or after before the Cowboys game?
Yeah, he got vaccinated at the beginning of the year. So he
Okay,
waited
Yeah.
through all this controversy. They waited till the end to get vaccinated.
well, I
I
didn't
thought it was
know. I didn't know if he waited till this week, right before the
no,
Cowboys game. Then he got
it was
vaccinated, and
months
he's
ago.
somehow getting superpowers. Somehow he's back to the
No,
air.
it's not superpowers. That's just the psychedelic mushrooms that give that.
Yeah, that's just a typical. That's a typical Aaron Rodgers right there.
He's a nut, is what he
I
is.
like Rodgers. You don't see very many quarterbacks yelling at the head coach besides maybe a Tom Brady.
Yeah. I did say Aaron Rodgers was done. And I was like, who is this guy? Last week, but yeah, he's I always said for the last couple of years, I said he's the greatest of all time. Talent wise, he's better than Tom Brady, and he went out there and showed that he's better than that he was how he was before. Yeah. wrapping up this MVP conversation, we are going to the, what does it say? I don't know.
Because Josh
It's
Allen,
hard. It's
eliminated himself from the conversation.
Oh yeah, okay. It's hard reading Clashton's handwriting over.
What
Not
do you
handwriting.
mean? What do you mean handwriting?
You be making R's with the letter R, and it's just
Who
totally.
cares? It's still pronounced R.
I'm trying to squint to see what is he writing over here. But all right, yes. So did Josh Allen eliminate himself from the MVP conversation? I could say I'll say no, but yes at the same time. I think I mentioned a few weeks back that I said yes, Josh Allen's my MVP currently, but then I was like, watch out. I said watch out for Tua, and this is right when he's coming back from his injury, came back, and he's been dominating the league ever since, just like how he was in the beginning of the season. But yes and no for Josh Allen. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
You go ahead, Shitty.
Okay, what was the actual question?
I'll read it.
I was asking if Shady was the worst Steelers fan in the world. That was the
No,
question.
it's has Josh Allen already eliminated himself from the MVP conversation?
No, absolutely not. He could go on a tear these last 6-7 games, light up the scoreboard, and then he's right back at it. So, no, I absolutely not.
Okay. Yeah. I'm still a little early. I mean, if he keeps playing like this, throwing 2 picks every single game, even if they're winning, I'm gonna say no. But if he, comes out, forgets about all this, and goes on to throw 20 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, then he's back to leading the conversation.
Right.
So he throws 2 picks, and it's still somewhat in the MVP conversation. Dak throws 2 picks. It's a bad game. It's a total bad game.
Well, Dak isn't in the conversation because it's Dak. He hasn't played the whole season, so he's automatically out.
No. I'm just saying what you were telling me right after the game. You said Dak had a bad game.
He did have a bad game. So did Josh
How did he
Allen.
have a bad game? He threw for 3 touchdowns right after that 2 picks.
I don't care if you throw for 10 touchdowns and throw 4 picks. Bad game. But
we need to be a little more biased here, or unbiased.
If you don't win the game, you had a bad game.
I mean, yeah, that's how most players view it. Like, if you
Oh,
if you don't
so
win,
you're
it's a bad
telling
game
me
no matter
nobody's
what.
ever had a great game and fucking lost?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying overall.
You just
know,
said they
from
had
a
a bad
player's-
game. If they
That's how
lose, they have a
players view
bad game.
Yeah, that's how players view it. It doesn't matter if they rush for 500
No,
yards.
we're
if
not
they
talking
lose,
about
they
players.
consider it.
We're not talking about players. We're talking about us, the NFL experts here,
Okay.
how we view it.
Those two picks make Dak have Dak a bad game. Yes, my opinion. Yeah.
Okay,
Dak
but
turned the ball
losing
over
in
5
general,
times.
you're saying has a bad game.
From a player's perspective, and from a player's mind, which, I try to. I mean, I played football for over 15 years, so I mean, like that's, I guess, kind of my mindset, going into it, from kind of player's perspective of it. So, and just in that respect, I mean, from just that aspect, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I mean, if he doesn't throw those 2 picks, it could have gone a totally different way. But he didn't win the game. Those 2 picks were costly, and bad game.
What? Wait, when did you play football, Mr. 15 years of football?
I played Pop Warner for years until I
Oh,
went to
don't
high school.
even say Pop Warner. It doesn't. Well, he played
What?
football. But
When did you
Isn't
play
Pop
football in high
Warner,
school?
like,
From the
fifth
time
grade?
I played football. I played league when I was 5 years old, all the way up until I graduated high school.
Okay, so Pop Warner threw high school football.
Okay, all right. What position you play? I would like to know.
I was safety and backup quarterback.
Quarterback.
Goddamn Cooper Rush over here, backup quarterback.
Backup quarterback.
Backup quarterback. Yeah. Oh,
I
I
couldn't
know
play
what
quarterback.
position. Yeah, I know what position Clashin played. He played
I was everything.
probably fifth string wide receiver. That was probably you.
I was 10th string wide receiver, 10th string running back, and 10th string safety.
And then you're probably that one receiver like the Cowboys that go that one play in overtime in the playoffs, and you'll just line up off sides.
Line up 5 yards off sides.
Yeah, and then
basically,
lose them the
that's
game
me.
in a critical down.
No. I've never lost my team a game.
They'd be
Ever.
like, our other stringers just got hurt. We need you, and then you go out there and just line up. The play's like a run play. You're not even in the play, or you don't even like you're blocking over there. The play's going over here.
I mean,
and
I'm a
they're like-
wide receiver. We don't block. What do you mean? In high school, we don't block. We just fucking.
I know, but
run 'em down the
you
play.
probably were that one player that just go line up off sides on offense.
No. In high school, you checked with the ref, and they helped you out.
Were you that wide receiver that would like line up like this? You would, like,
No, that was
keep your.
no, hands down. But a lot of people do. A lot of receivers in high school do line up like that.
They go like this.
I wasn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
They line
I
up.
wasn't
Line,
one of them. I wasn't one of them.
they line, looking at the referee. Okay.
I can
yeah.
show proof I didn't line up like that.
Oh, do you have any highlights? We may need to add these highlights on our podcast.
I mean, I can send a few.
Some clashing highlights. I don't know if they filmed back in the 50s for Shady in his Pop Warner League.
Probably not.
No. We had when I played, it was always it was beta, and then it went turned into VHS. So no, though I don't.
They had to get
We
they had to
had
get the
Huddle
antenna. The
Just
antenna.
taken off when I was
Yeah,
playing. Huddle was like the new thing.
A bunny ear antennas, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of bunny ears and antennas, we found we had like a cable through our work, and we were like one of our shop chiefs had the antenna whatever routed through and connected our TV, and then we have another TV in our break room. And I was like, me and another coworker were trying to figure out how we could. We're probably thinking about buying an antenna on like Amazon so we could watch some. I don't know. It said it can get like 5 channels. Anyways, if it can get some channels, that's a win for us. We don't really watch TV at work, but do you actually work, Clashing? Because we don't really know what you do for your job.
You
or
actually
the
work?
listeners.
I don't. It's honestly not really work, but yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Nah, you gotta go. Tell me what you do for work.
Hi, I'm JCR Clashin. I drive trucks
Thomas
every single
Cohut.
day. So we're Hey, don't be giving out my real name now.
I
So
gave
I
out your real
drive-
name in the beginning of the show, so
Yeah, I know. So I drive truck for a living. I'm a perfect driver. I'm never on my phone. I'm always glued on the road, and I'm just the safest driver on the road. And yeah, on my free time, I play NASCAR Heat, and I talk trash about the Cowboys on this podcast.
we're gonna move on into NASCAR Heat after Shady says what he does for actual work. Are you on your phone, Shady, at work? Are you one of those guys that scroll through TikTok all the time?
No, TikTok? No, absolutely not. Do I have downtime? Yes. Because I work at a marina. Hi, I'm Shady. I work at a marina, and I'm a very, very good Steelers fan, and I like to put down the Cowboys as much as possible because I've always been a Redskins fan. On this podcast. So, yeah, at the marina, at this time of year, dealing with boats and stuff like that. Yeah, I get a little bit of downtime in between projects. So, I don't flip through TikTok necessarily, but yeah, I flip through my phone when I have a few minutes at work, but it's usually a few minutes in between one boat being pulled out of my work bay and the boat coming into the work bay, and then I'm back at it. So,
Oh, for my work, I am a stay-at-home streamer. I don't do anything.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you can tell.
I'll leave it as that. Unspecified what I do for my streaming. Anyways, NASCAR Heat. We're gonna add this to the podcast. We didn't have it in our initial outline. We're gonna talk about the Valor race that Chase ended up winning. I picked him. He was my pick.
I mean, he was everyone's pick.
Not Shady's. He was clashing. I mean,
Yeah,
it was your pick.
everyone was pro clashing. Yeah.
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 But I got
Hey,
second.
yeah.
I got second. You know, your boy got second. The clashing.
Hopefully, I made Shady proud.
Yep.
I led a bunch of laps. I was in contention for basically the whole race, so I didn't disappoint. I hope.
No,
Well,
no.
clashing almost took me out with about like
Stage 2 was a rough incident for me.
can't
Like that was
remember.
horrible.
it was like 20 something to go. It was like 10 or 20 something to go. I got loose. Flash was passing me. You went to the back. No, it was probably around 8 to go actually. I got loose, and out of turns 3 and 4, while Flash was passing me, I was riding in my fuel gear, and he went below me. I got loose coming out of 4 and clashing. He almost finished it. I was getting loose. I was coming back down. I hit Flash, and then clashing almost just finished me off. Luckily, I had enough momentum, kept going forward, and stayed with the draft. But
It wasn't stage 3 because stage 3 I was in the lead the whole time because that's why I wasn't
no,
able to save fuel.
no, you weren't in the lead the whole time, because the one time you did go to the back, that lap you went to the back,
I dropped a third.
yeah,
which
you dropped
was
the third,
behind
and
me
then
Flash.
that's as soon as you dropped the third, Flash made the pass, where he attempted to make the pass. That's when I almost got wrecked and everything. I saved it because my talent level is so fucking amazing, and
I'm sure it is.
and then I was like, oh, thank God. But I think that's what costed me a chance at a championship, because I had to make up so much time going into our pits with about like so many to go. I think it was 5 or 4. I can't remember. I was like probably 0.6, 0.5 away from Flash, and I
You
had
made it work, though.
I had to send that car in there so hard, and
So I have a question.
It
So
made
you're
it.
saying
It
you
made
have so
pits.
much talent. So what happened to leaving the pit road, Mister? I got all this talent.
old tires. I mean, okay. So, no, I will say this. When I was coming out of pits, me and Flash were basically probably inside each other, and I can't tell if my car is getting loose if I can't see my car because we're glued into each other. And when I was coming out, I kind of backed out slightly because I wanted to see if my back end was going to kick, but I feel in my wheel, and I don't know. I struggled I think all 3 pit stops. I struggled getting off the pit road, and that's. But if I were with the main pack when I originally did it, and if I could have full sent it into pits, I would have probably had that full 5 tenths, 6 tenths lead, and then I would have blocked my ass off from there. But I didn't.
Yeah.
Then me and Clashing got collected with about 3 to go, and he's like, "Well, what the fuck, man?"
Yeah,
I'm
this
like,
random guy. So we're coming out of pits here. Mike and I have this huge run, and J-Wow's just leaving the pits at this point, and we give him the preferred lane. So I pass him on the outside, and this dude, I don't know if he was mad. I think he flipped me off. As I was going on him, he just doors me.
I was like,
A light door.
no, it wasn't. I mean, we're on old tires. I really couldn't turn anymore, and I told him as soon as I hit him, I was like, I couldn't turn. I mean, I was max turn, my wheels turned, and it's not like I ran up the track. I was holding my line, and we got tangled up, racing incident, which you end up having to save fuel anyways towards the end because you were probably
Yeah,
going
I
to
was
make
still
it.
half lap short.
And Mike, he tried to dive bomb me at that very last lap to
Yeah,
get.
the last lap, I actually rammed him in the center to help push him into you, and I was hoping I'd get 2 free spots, but it didn't work out.
Didn't know that. That's well noted right there. That's a
Deep
that's a
spots.
fucking
Record
teammate
record.
right there. That
Either
is a
way, we're not
teammate. That is a
championship.
teammate. That's a great teammate right there. I was wondering. I was like, why is he fucking ramming me in this corner? And now we know it's this dude right there, my goddamn co-host that I bring on every single week, and I
There's your answer.
I give him all the
Hey,
breaks.
It was all fair game. It was all fair game.
You just fucked me over so many times in the playoffs, huh?
No.
Oh yeah, you did. I fucking know it. Now Vegas, you just wanted to fucking. I ain't bringing no Vegas. I got so
I
pissed
don't
off over that.
remember Vegas.
Oh, I remember Vegas.
Where you missed turn 1 and 2. Yeah, I remember now. I remember.
I did not miss the turn. You just dope bombed me for no reason.
Well, you have your point of view. I have my point of view. I mean,
Also,
we're both right.
just know you owe me some money. I'm not forgetting that.
Yeah, I'll start your payments here in about a week, and you'll get $1 a week for the next,
No,
16
No,
weeks.
no,
payments.
we
Payments
had a
for
deal.
what?
No, we had a
So at
deal.
the beginning of the season,
Before
we made
give him a backstory. Give him a backstory. Before the season started in FTR, actually previous leagues I've had a little bit of temper issues with certain drivers and drama cause and it's just unrelated stuff that wasn't on the track. And after FTR, I got suspended that one race because ego got over myself and
Yeah.
we heading to Valor and I told him. You can explain the rest, Clash, because you're
Yeah,
the one who
so
has to pay the checks.
so I was seeing these guys like Favre and DB and Iturbo Chase and just a bunch of guys that have, I wouldn't say egos, but are competitive. And I was like, there's no way JWoww survives this season without getting into an argument. So we made a $200 bet that he would cause drama at least one point in the season, and this freaking dude didn't do anything the whole season.
I'm pretty sure I won the most favorite driver of the year award. I think I I don't really have any except for one. The Atlanta win. I had to
And
rough up Chase a little bit.
yeah, you roughed up Chase. I was definitely the least favorite. I mean, I was
Oh yeah,
probably
you were
tied
definitely
for last. I wrecked Hill like Jason at Chicago. I cut Mike RPM's nose off at
twice.
twice.
He
One at
never paid you
Atlanta.
back. I'm surprised about that. He never paid you back. Maybe he's waiting until next season. I think he'll
Yeah,
remember.
maybe he's waiting for next season. Maybe. But yeah, we had a rough season. But I beat JWoww a bunch of times, so that's really all that matters.
But no. You know what really matters is I beat you on the last race where all the money counts.
Oh yeah. True,
You know,
maybe.
I
tried my best.
how's it feel getting beat by me?
It's tick for tack because Clash did win the regular season championship.
I get first dibs of my Bubba Wallace car next season, so
I'm
the real
not.
winner.
Oh,
I did not know that. I did not know that bet, and I mean, hats off for you, JWoww, not creating the drama.
Here's another
nice
thing.
guy.
Most people think Clashin's the problem, but everyone knows if you know JWoww and you actually know Clashin, everyone knows JWoww is he's the talker in the chat.
I would because
See,
I know
you would
guys.
never know. You would never know. See, I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy now.
You got to stop that.
Stop what? Being a nice guy?
Yes.
Oh
damn it.
no, you don't. You don't want to see the other side of J. Oh, you don't want to see the old J. Wow. That caused problems.
I know. I mean, but it's that passion. It's just like me. I mean, last week, with me in this FTR league that I'm this season I am in this FTR. I mean, doing battle and getting wrecked by this one driver. 5-6 times now this season. I blew up at his ass last week. But it's that passion, that I admire. But to put a lid on it and to control that, because I have that same passion as you, and I haven't been able to sometimes control that, which is very hard to do. So for you to do that, I mean, it's tip of the hat because that's, I can honestly say that I haven't kind of mastered that when it kind of boils over. I mean, like tonight, I mean, it might be the 6th or 7th time where he ends up getting me. I mean, we'll kind of see. And but I'm not in a chat. I'm by my own self, which is fine. But yeah. So tip of the hat for you to be able to control your emotions.
Yeah, I think JWoww's thinking long term. He's going sponsor friendly.
Yeah, I gotta. I back then when the pro league was a thing and they had rules under us, I couldn't really talk all that shit. Remember? Yeah, you remember Jay was throwing rule book at us because I was a problem.
Old rule book. You can't say that. What do you mean I can't say that?
I'm 100. I am almost 100% sure I was the last person to message in that Summer Showdown chat.
It was either you
or
DP.
Yeah, I was the last person. I was talking shit about. Of course they banned the whole chat, but I was the one who had the last message. I got to get the last word, and I said I was talking shit about how people were calling the new NASCAR 21 game, and all these content creators were saying, "Oh, it's still a good game. This NASCAR 21 great game." While all the bugs were going on, and a lot of the pro drivers and fast drivers were looking forward to this new game for fucking 2 years, because NASCAR Heat 5 was almost a photocopy of what Heat 4 was, and that just wasted a whole nother year to get this NASCAR 21 out game, and it just caused a lot of drama. And I'm the drama guy back in the day, but I'm everybody's most famous driver, most favorite driver, because I didn't wreck nobody. I never caused problems with anybody, and if I did, I'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," or just being a nice guy now. Got to do it for the sponsors, especially if there's another NASCAR game coming out, which I actually don't know. There was news yesterday that all the motorsports, like CEOs, big executives, resigned all at once. So I don't know if that next gen update's going to come out now.
So it could be that could be a good. Maybe NASCAR will drop their contract with motorsports games, and we could get a new company that comes in and actually make a real game.
So now we have to wait another couple years to get an actual game.
Well, either way, we're gonna wait another year and a half, but yeah. It could be another couple years.
But we were just about to have that next gen update for NASCAR.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We were just about to get that update, which might ruin NASCAR Heat 5. You never know.
That's what I'm saying. If we don't get that update, I really don't plan on running another season in Valor, because I feel like I've put too much time into these same cars, and there's almost no speed to find in these cars anymore. It's just
this guy over here talking setups, Mr. I grind 9 hours a day building a setup.
Who was with you that whole last week trying to help you build a setup?
No, you were, but yeah. I'm just saying, what about the other 54 weeks?
What 54 weeks?
Where were you in FR? Where were you in FTR?
I was there in FR. You don't remember? Me and you, we're still grinding. We were putting 10 hours a day in those setups.
It was Pittman and I putting 30 hours a day in.
No, it was me and you, especially. Why would I not practice?
You're no practice JWoww.
Oh yeah, I was no practice JWoww. I was no practice JWoww back in the day. That was
Well, I mean, you're to the point now. I mean, you guys both have been on Heat 5 for so long, and you have put in all those hours to where I mean, I can see that point where, I mean, I don't know where you can find, where you guys in particular can find, more speed in your cars. Maybe
can certain speed to find.
Yes, can in certain
tracks. It's certain tracks, and find a 100th or maybe even a 10th. I mean, for me, I mean, I'm still building and still learning every day. I'm still trying to find out the right combinations, which is part of the fun for me. Is I like taking the time to build the setup and to take it to the track on race day and see how good I can run it. I'm still looking for that elusive win, but that's the fun part of it for me is to build it and to take it to the track and see how good I've got it. Now, I mean, I've got a couple of setups that I know are on point that I can run, and I'm going to do very, very well in. So whenever I go back to those tracks, I'm going to pull those setups out and, just like you guys said, find a 100th or find another 10th or something like that to make it even better. But I mean, like you guys and like Chase, you quote unquote pro league type caliber guys have been on there for so long. You guys have so much experience building it, and I mean, just all you guys are so incredibly fast. All of you. I mean, the whole top 5, the top 5, top 7 the other night, in Valor. I mean, it just absolutely insane how good you guys really, really are, honestly.
Yeah, as long as we have that guy in the league to motivate us, like FR, we had Scotty B to chase and get us faster, and then this season of Valor, we had Bro Chase. So as long as we have that fast guy to chase, we will continue to find hundreds and thousands. I mean, not a 10th, but a couple hundreds.
But I feel like I've already I think I've hit my point to where I want something new. That's why I was really looking forward for this next gen update to come out because it's something new and completely different that these drivers that have been racing on customs for the past 2 3 years, it may be a skill gap, and we actually can go back to not just riding around and actually put in who has talent in the cars because it's a little more. I know it'd be a little more equal, but everybody's learning the car at the same time. But not everybody's had this car for the last 2 years and have been working on it to find that, like you said, hundreds and thousands, a tenth if you're lucky, because everybody's finding it now. But if you're in a new cars, you could be finding 2 tenths, 3 tenths, and it's the big jumps that I just want to strive for, and I think I hit my limit on that type of league racing with those old Cup cars, and I just want to have something new. And if it's not going to come out, it's not really going to bring me back into league racing anymore, unless I see see a big payday, which I don't really see those summer showdowns or winter showdowns coming back anymore for heat. But they're gonna have to do something new and improved for me to come back. But yeah, I plan on doing more iRacing lately. I gonna do some Thunderclap league racing and iRacing. I think the season starts March, so it's gonna be running a season long schedule, and I look forward to that. Hopefully, Clash and run a few races if you can. I don't know if Valor's going to be racing by the time that season's over.
Yeah, I
But,
might make a few starts. Depends on how my PC is doing.
but you understand why I'm kind of just like hit my limit, you know?
Yeah, I mean it does get pretty boring because I mean at this point you're racing the same people and everyone's I've had the same setups because I mean setups get out eventually. Everyone shares their setups. Everyone's racing the same stuff basically. So like I mean the talent gap is still there, but the speed and the setup gap is slowly shrinking, and there isn't really much to separate you from other drivers.
Yeah, and then like it's say when it does come to actual racing, like side by side racing, that's almost kind of non-existent nowadays because if you're racing side by side and you have a chase going on in front, he's pulling away. How are you going to catch up to him? You need to ride in the draft, so it's more just like a draft riding thing. Everybody has a speed. I mean, you're going to be going 10 times faster because everybody has that great speed on those drafts, but there's the racing almost non-existent versus like how when you NASCAR there was some racing and sliders because there's a big skill gap and everybody's had the same car and it's mostly the percentage on the skill on how it takes to drive those cars are a lot wider compared to custom setups nowadays that have been worked on for so long, and finding thousands and hundreds is it's hard to get to the limit. But we're gonna finish up talking about NASCAR heat and we're gonna go back into NFL. We can talk about some Colts. I know Flash 9 wants to hear some Colt action. They came home with a win with their new head coach. So, are the Colts trending to be a playoff?
Intern, head coach.
Still a head coach. Stop. If
Intern.
he's a coach.
Hey, I don't know if you've seen some of these videos of some of these older guys coming out and bashing on this coach, but he's a pretty hated guy right now because he got the job.
I mean,
Hey, he can be hated all he wants to. The players love him.
yeah, he's a
The
player.
head office of. I mean, it doesn't matter what the outside noise is. He's blocking. He's going to block that out. And I'm rooting for the guy personally. I mean, I'm rooting for the guy, and he's come out and said, now, Saturday he's been an advisor, an executive with the Colts since he's retired. So it's not like he, has come off the freaking couch or something like that. So I mean, he's
He
been
came off of
involved.
ESPN. His last job was working with ESPN, going on First Take, arguing with Stephen A. Smith. So
Right, but
sad that.
he's been a paid executive advisor with the Colts, so it's not like he's not been with he's not been in the organization. So, and he's come out and said, he's just a guy, he's just a coach for these last 7 or 8 games, and then everybody will talk turkey then. And he said, if he doesn't cut the bread, then hey, no problem. At least he gave it his best shot. And I think he can make a good coach because he played with Peyton Manning. He's Peyton Manning center for God knows how many years. He's won a Super Bowl, been to two. And so he knows how to coach. He knows how to lead a team. Um, and I think he can get these guys to rally around him, especially after getting, the win last week. And it's given his players confidence, which that confidence goes a long, long way. I'm rooting for the Colts. I really am. I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for the Colts. And I hope that I hope that they make some noise. I hope come week 17 that they're in the playoff discussion. I really hope they do.
Question.
Yeah.
You act like you're not next. Like who's gonna talk after that?
I was like, maybe Jay will talk.
I
Who
mean,
knows?
I'm talking my ghost over here. You got anything to say?
Yeah, I think the Colts can be a playoff team. I know they have some rough games coming up. I know they play the Cowboys. I think they play Tennessee this week. They got the Vikings, they got the Chargers, they got the Giants. Yeah, so they don't have a very easy schedule. So I think they could do it. They're gonna have to play a perfect game. So I'm hoping they make the playoffs. If they don't, it just helps the Steelers. But I'm rooting for the Colts.
Speaking of them facing the Cowboys, are we gonna go to that game? The Cowboys versus Colts game. Sunday
I
night
plan
game.
on it. Nothing's official yet, but I plan on going.
All right. Well, you need to let me know so I can book some hotel rooms. Because I know it's Sunday night, so I have to put in a couple of days off.
Well, I already told my fleet manager to get me down to Texas for that weekend. So
Texas. But yeah, all right. Back to the Colts. No, I do not see them being a playoff contender. Yeah, they could have a good run, but I don't think they'll.
They have such a tough schedule. Maybe if they played like, I don't know,
the Jags.
Yeah,
Well, they play
have
the
a
Jags,
tough
right?
schedule.
It's Jags are. If they play the
No.
Jags for the next every single game.
So
there's
they
the-
play the Eagles next week, and then they play the Steelers, and then they play the Cowboys. So they can win against Steelers realistically, and then they play the Cowboys, and then the Vikings, and then the Chargers,
No,
the Giants.
no,
They can
no.
maybe squeeze out a win, and then the Texans. I think they should win.
But how is that going to get them? That's not even going to get them anywhere
Exactly.
near close to
That-
playoff contention.
Yeah, they have to win out. They have to win out. which
They'd
is
they'd
a
have to
long shot.
pull the greatest long shot of all time with a intern head coach.
And
Might-
then we might have to put Jeff Saturday into the MVP conversation. Like
maybe coach of the year, intern coach of the year, because he's not a
intern
coach.
coach of the year. Get rid of the Lombardi trophy and make it the Saturday trophy.
Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be a long shot if they're gonna become a playoff contender. They haven't had the best of the season. I mean, they had a little spark beating the Chiefs earlier in the season, but that's a big no for me. We're gonna go into our picks of the week. We're gonna start off. I want to save that one game for the last pick. We'll go with the Chiefs versus the Chargers. Who do we see taking that game, Shady?
Chiefs and Chargers, huh? I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I'm going with the upset. I'm going with Chargers.
Huh. Guessing I'm next. So I want to go with the Chiefs. I know Juju's
What-
hurt. It's at the Chargers though. I'll go Chiefs. We'll go with the favorite Chiefs.
You're going with the Chiefs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with the Chiefs as well. Chargers lost to the 49ers last.
Because if the
Ooh, I
Chargers
could-
lose, it helps the Steelers. So I need a Chargers loss here.
Oh,
Well,
I could gain a game on the standings. I don't know where we're at in the standings as far as our picks, but that could gain me a good game right there.
yeah, we'll get the standings next episode. But I think it was either Clashing or me. It was close, but Yeah, I got the Chiefs. Shady's got the Chargers, and Claston's got the Chiefs. Next game, we're gonna move into the. Why do you pick this game?
It's prime time. It's prime time game. Monday night.
But still, is there were there not any other better games than this game?
Uh,
The Titans
honestly,
versus the Green Bay. That's
no,
Thursday night.
It's the Packers.
They just beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, but the Cowboys are nobody.
The Cowboys.
Oh, if the Cowboys are nobody, then why are they on our list then?
All right, so the Titans and Packers would be a game we could talk about. The Eagles versus Colts, maybe. Other than that, there's really nobody, unless you want to talk about the Bengals and Steelers.
I'm gonna go with we're gonna take that game off. We're gonna go with the Packers versus the Titans for Thursday night football. All right.
All right,
So
I'll go first.
Yeah. We'll have him go first. Pick that game.
So we have the Tennessee Titans, who only have Derrick Henry.
They got Ryan Tannehill.
We don't. Well, that's like Dak Prescott. Then we have the Packers, who I think they definitely have to win this game. Again, if the Titans lose, it's up Steelers. So I'm gonna go Packers.
Well, I want the Packers to win just because it'll help the Steelers, but I think the Titans are going to go into Lambeau and take this one. I see King Henry going in there and having a field day. I'm going to pick the Titans on this one, even though if Green Bay wins and helps the Steelers out a little bit, I would not be disappointed.
I am going to go with the Packers on this one. I think it does get that last game just got them rejuvenated. They're back to their old selves. They're clicking on all cylinders now. So this would be the game the second game to get it rolling on top of the last one. And yeah, next game and the last game of our picks of the week, we have probably the greatest game of all time: Cowboys versus the Vikings. The Cowboys coming off a loss, a sad loss, I will say, and Vikings are coming off one of the games of the year. So
I want to go back to the Packers here. It's supposed to be like 20 degrees.
So that should be in the Packers' favor.
Yeah. So one of our experts here says players are less athletic in cold weather, basically. So Derrick Henry
who's
might
your
be a little
source?
slower. Who's my source? Trusted.
Okay.
Hey, it gets pretty cold in Nashville. Just to let you know, it gets pretty daggone cold in Nashville.
Yeah, the game is in Nashville.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not Green Bay.
No, it's in Green Bay.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying that Tennessee is not necessarily a warm weather team by all expects.
Yeah, but a certain person here thinks 30-degree weather affects players' ability.
But I know I redacted that. I told you I redacted that. So don't be coming at me. All right. Tell your source to go back to town. That's not what it is. So I told you before the game. The cold doesn't matter.
On to the Cowboys game here.
Yeah.
So
the Cowboys.
is the game? I'm guessing it's not in Dallas.
No, it's in Minnesota. Sunday night football.
Yeah, so Minnesota's it's indoors, so like weather won't really matter unless they might catch a cold walking from the bus to the building. That's about it. So Vikings are hot right now. Cowboys just came off a loss, so I think the Cowboys are going to play hard. I want to go with the Cowboys, but can't go with the Cowboys.
Then pick the Cowboys.
I don't know.
No, just pick the Cowboys.
Vikings are going to win this game 30-3.
Ooh, bold prediction.
How do you go from almost picking the Cowboys to saying they're going to win 30-3?
Because I realized it was the Cowboys.
I'm just gonna leave that there, and I'm going with the Vikings on this one, just for the fact that Cowboys are on the road in Minnesota. Minnesota's come off two very inspiring wins. They came back and barely beat Washington, but they won there in that last minute or whatever to beat Washington, and then they had that wacky game last week in Buffalo and stole a win in Buffalo. So they're playing inspired. They're playing at home. Um, uh, Primetime Kirk is definitely due for his pick six, which will probably happen. But I still see Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook running all over the Cowboys. I'm saying 27-17 Minnesota.
Okay. I'll put a little asterisk on this on my pick.
All right, let's get our clips ready. Someone screen record this.
Screen record it. Ah, damn. I don't have my cigar on me. Uh, whoa. No. I'm trying to find. No. All right. My pick. Like I told you, I said I put an asterisk on this. My pick. If Zeke Elliott plays, they're going to win. If Zeke Elliott doesn't play, then they're going to lose.
Wait a minute. You were last week. You were all praising Tony Pollard like he's the next greatest thing since homogenized milk.
Yeah, but he needs.
I think he complements Zeke well. He's not a very good start.
I think he's good for a certain amount of snaps, a certain amount of rushes, and then he just kind of tails off. He needs something that rejuvenates him, and that's Zeke. And also Zeke helps out with the pass blocking. Pollard, he's not really a pass blocker. If you get Zeke in there, that will help out tremendous. They run that offense off of Zeke. If you can get that 2-back combo going, it'll really help them out, and I see them taking it home. But if Pollard can't get going, then Dak's gonna have to really play out the ass, and if they're getting behind on that Vikings defense, it's gonna be bad. So yeah, and don't say I've never picked the Cowboys to lose. I picked the Cowboys to lose. What was it, against the Rams? I said because we were talking about if Dak was going to play. I said if Dak plays, they were going to win. If Cooper Rush plays, they're going to lose. And it was the opposite. So Cooper Rush played, and they still won against the Rams. Yeah, but Zeke Elliott is a rock. They need to play him, and they'll win. So save that clip. If Zeke does play and they play like shit, then you can make another TikTok off of me or whatever.
Oh, are you betting the house? So if Zeke plays, are you betting the house?
I'm betting the goddamn house. We're fucking winning this shit, and we'll win the Super Bowl. So
Super Bowl.
yeah, I'm changing my pick. I told you I'd change my pick. It's gonna be the Cowboys versus the Dolphins Super Bowl in Arizona, and guess who's gonna? I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there watching my boys. They're getting it done.
I'll be there too if the Steelers get there.
Clip it. You can do whatever you got to do. Have fun with your little clips. They're getting it done. Sunday Night Football. The world's watching. The world is watching.
Again.
The world is watching. And in Minnesota, against the hottest team in NFC, would that revert it if the Cowboys win? Would you say the Cowboys are the hottest team in NFC if they go out there and rout them?
I mean, it depends. Like, if they go out there and just absolutely destroy them and like win like 28-14, then yeah. But if it's a close game where anybody can win, then we'll call the Vikings still good, and the Cowboys are good, but they're not the hottest.
Okay, I agree with that. So, let me add one more question before we end this episode. Who has a better shot to win the NFC East? Is it going to be the Eagles, the Giants, Cowboys, or the Redskins? They're kind of all under a blanket right now. Especially after this Eagle loss, it may cause them to start going downhill.
I want to see the Giants. I mean, I know the Giants aren't the best team in the NFC East, but I want to see them win. That would be pretty big for the Giants.
It kind of stole my pick. I'm going with the Giants too. I think the Eagles are gonna start to implode a little bit, and this loss that they received at the hands of my Redskins this past Monday night is going to open up some things for other teams watching that film, and gonna use that playbook to their advantage. And I see the Eagles. They started off hot. They started off wonderful and great. But now Now we're halfway through the season. The second half isn't going to be too kind to them. Dallas is just Dallas. They, they just choke on everything. Still
Win the
looking for
big
that.
game.
Yeah, that big game, and they, that second receiver is still out there in the draft somewhere, I think. So
Who?
I would love to say my Redskins, but I know better than that. So that leaves the Giants, really. So if Saquon stays healthy, then the Giants. If something happens to Saquon, then it's up for grabs.
I agree with the. I'll go about 80% Giants. But I honestly think it's either gonna be Philly or the Giants. It's gonna be one of those two. Cowboys, kind of feel like they dug themselves in a hole. Unless both teams just start imploding, then they're gonna really need some help. But Giants,
they dug a hole that's about 6 feet deep.
not that deep. No, not that deep. If the Eagles would have got this win, then I would have said absolutely 0% chance they aren't going to win the division. But they're probably like 1-2% they could win. It just needs they need too much help. I would say that. But yeah, it would have been all under control if they would have won against the Green Bay. But they've only been one game back, and it would have been under control if they would have beat the Eagles later in the season. But it's not. That's fine. I'll take a wild card. Number 5. This division's real tough, so number 5 wild card doesn't mean anything bad, especially in this division. Even number 6 wild card. Hell, fucking the Giants. I mean the Redskins may sweep NFC East may sweep all the spots in the wild cards. 7th spot with a good record. I'll add. So we'll keep
next Powerball too. So that's cool.
We'll keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on the NFC East. They may sweep that whole. They may take the 49ers off that 7th spot, and the Redskins are going to hop right on it. NFC East sweep for playoffs. But anyways, we're going to wrap up this episode. It was real fun. We talked about some NFL and NASCAR. Also, Ty Gibbs is now in the Cup Series. It's official. He is not going to be driving the 18 car. He's going to be driving the 54 car. So, any last thoughts and opinions before we wrap this up?
So what did Gibbs do with the 18? Did they get rid of the 18? Like, did they get rid of that number? Or
I don't think I think that's still a Gibbs number. I don't think nobody could really take that.
He still owns the number, but they're just not using it.
Yeah, so I actually like that. I like that move more than putting him in 18 because 18 is more of Kyle Busch's legacy. And if Ty Gibbs can build his own legacy with the 54, which he already has the past 2 years with the Xfinity 54, but hopefully he has a good rookie season next year. I really really looking forward to him racing, especially with all the top dogs, and hopefully he can earn their respects next season.
Yeah. Hopefully he wrecks Chase Elliott a few times. So that would be the ideal situation for me.
No, he only wrecks his own teammates.
Oh, so yeah, true.
We're not dogging on Ty Gibbs. He had a
Watch
rough.
out, Truex.
No, we're not dogging on Ty Gibbs. He had a rough couple weeks, so we're gonna end it there.
Very true. Very true. Very
So-
true. Hearts still go out to the Gibbs family. That's true.
We forgive him. I forgive him. He especially with this time of need. But yeah, we're gonna wrap the show up. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Appreciate y'all coming on the show, and yeah, we'll see you next week and talking about the Cowboys beating the Vikings.